Today we are breaking down how companies tell their story halfway through the year without losing the plot or the trust of their investors. We have all been there. You wait 365 days for the series finale of your favorite show, only to realize you have forgotten half the plot. In the business world, waiting a whole year to see if a company is winning or crashing is a long time to hold your breath. Enter IAS 34, Interim Financial Reporting. Think of it as the mid season recap or a health checkup for companies. So it's a standard that says, hey, we don't need the full 500 pages right now, but we need the truth and we need it fast. So before we dive into the standard, we need to understand the terms interim financial period. Interim financial period is any period that is shorter than a full financial year, and any report that relates to this period is an interim financial report. An interim financial report should be prepared according to the standard IAS 34. The scope and objective of the IAS 34 is to set out the minimum content of that report, and that minimum content should include the recognition and measurement principles. This standard does not mandate and which entities should prepare the report or how frequently or how soon after the end of the period this report should be prepared. However, IASP encourages publicly traded entities to provide the interim financial report. Now dive into the contents of the interim financial report. There are four major contents that should be included in the financial report that is prepared on interim basis. First one is the selected explanatory notes. These notes are designed to provide an explanation of all the significant or material events or transactions that has arisen since the last annual financial statements. So they can be any change in the accounting policy, any unusual items or change in the estimates, any dividend paid, or any other material event. So basically, the selected explanatory notes should include all the disclosures of the material and significant events. So they can be the changes in the contingent liabilities or assets or issue, repurchase, and repayment of the debt and equity. The second major content that should be kept in mind while preparing the interim financial report is that the interim financial report should comply with all the IFRSs and it should be made in accordance with the IAS 34, and this fact shall be disclosed in the report. So, as we discussed earlier in the selected explanatory notes, materiality is the key of the interim financial reports. So, while making the assessments of materiality, you should keep this thing in mind that material or significant events or transactions they rely on estimates to a greater extent in the interim period than the annual financial data. So these events should be dealt with lot care while preparing the interim financial reports. The fourth and the most important one of the content of the interim financial report is disclosures. In the annual financial statements, if an estimate of an amount reported in the interim period is changed during the final period, then the nature and the amount of that change in that estimate shall be disclosed in a note to the annual financial statement of that year. There are few policies and estimates that should be kept in mind while preparing the interim financial report. Same accounting policies and estimates should be applied in the annual financial statements as were applied in the interim financial statements. Any costs that are incurred unevenly during an entity's financial year shall be deferred for the final purposes. And it is also appropriate to anticipate that type of cost at the end of the financial year. Income tax expense should be recognized based on the best estimate of the weighted average annual income tax expected for the full financial year. Then the use of estimates. It is to be recognized that preparation of the interim reports require great use of estimates. So, as I told you earlier, the estimates should be dealt with lot care while the preparation of the interim financial reports. Restatement of previously reported interim periods. Any entity that is preparing interim financial reports and where a new accounting policy is adopted in an interim period, then that policy shall be applied retrospectively and previously reported interim data is restated in accordance with the IAS 8. So, if we summarize this standard helps us prepare interim financial reports that are for a period shorter than the full financial year. The contents include the notes, which provide the disclosures of the significant and major transaction or events during the period. And the principle that should be kept in mind is materiality. Now I'm going to show you interim financial report of a fictional company Value PLC for the period ending June 2024. Value PLC has prepared the condensed consolidated statement of profit or loss, condensed consolidated statement of comprehensive income, condensed consolidated statement of financial position in its interim report. Now, what are the condensed statements of financial position or condensed financial statements? Any financial statement that is summarized, that is not full or condensed. And IAS 34 has allowed you to prepare the condensed statement only on interim basis. Along with the condensed financial statements, it has prepared here the notes to those condensed statements. The first note is significant changes in the current period. As we discussed, one of the content to be included in the interim financial report was material or significant changes in the current period. Value PLC have also mentioned the segments and revenue information for the interim period, material profit or loss items, how income tax has been dealt in that interim period, and what were the dividends, the PPEs and intangible assets, the impairment of the goodwill, the provisions, borrowings, equity. So basically, the Value PLC has mentioned all its significant or material events that has occurred during that interim period in the notes to the condensed interim financial statements. Then it has also added commentary on the notes to the condensed financial statements. So that's it for the IAS 34. I hope you liked the video. Thank you.